Okay, this is exercise 3F. It's question 5, blood alcohol content 1. So let's have a go at this. Okay, now first thing I want to point out is with this example 5, it actually mentions which example it comes from. It comes from example 14 for question 5, sorry. It comes from example 14. So you should have referred back to that question. If you did refer back to that question, you would have found that there is a formula for the number of hours. And the number of hours before you should drive is blood alcohol content divided by 0.015. So that's the formula we're using for this question. Now we're only doing question A, and question D is all I've asked you to do. So let's give it a go. There is an added complexity to this in a way where it says answer to the nearest minute. We're going to do that on the calculator, and I'll show you how. So here we go. Question A. Joshua weighs 85 kilograms and consumes 5 standard drinks in an hour. So we have his mass and we have the amount of drinks. So what we do is we go to the 85 kilos, we go to the 5 standard drinks, we find where they meet. So we have this 0.074. What is that? Well, this is the BAC. So our BAC equals 0.074 for question A. So we're now going to chuck that into the formula. So I'm just going to call that N, the number of hours. And we've got 0.074 over 0.015. If I bring up my calculator, I've got 0.074 over 0.015. Okay, gives us an answer of 4.93. So we'll write that down. So we've got N equals 4.93 repeater. Now, it's asking us to answer it to the nearest minute, though. So this is a little trick I can show you on your calculator. Now, there's a couple of things you can do on here that are really cool. There is this button here. If I move my mouse over it, hopefully you'll see it. This one changes it from decimal to standard notation. So what that does, it changes it from decimal to fraction or from fraction to decimal. So if I click that, it'll change it to a fraction. Now, we don't really want that at the moment. We want to change it to minutes. So there is another button. It's the one we normally use when we're doing angles. And it's this one here. I refer to it as the bubble button sometimes. But it changes it to degrees, minutes, and seconds. So it's when we're doing angles, that's a really useful one. But basically, the amount of minutes in a degree, there's 60 of them. And the amount of seconds in a minute, there are 60 of them. So this is basically the same as converting it to time. So it'll convert this 4.93, which is 4 hours, and then minutes. It will convert it. Now, technically, the calculator is converting it to degrees and minutes, but we don't care whether they call it degrees or whether they call it hours. Okay. So if I click on that, it will convert it to 4 and then something else. And it'll have little commas, inverted commas up the top, and that's just the separation. So if I click on that, it'll do 4 degrees and 56 minutes. So instead of degrees, we know that it's hours. So you've got 4 hours, 56 minutes. So if I go back up there, I can click on that button, and again, if my mouse will turn up, there it is, and it'll turn it back to decimal or back to degrees and to minutes and seconds. Okay, so 4 hours 56. Now, second one, question D, we have 65 kilograms. So I'll just get rid of that, and 2 standard drinks. So we go to 65, and we go to 2, and we got 0.028. So we've got N equals 0.028 divided by 0.015, which will equal, if we do that, 0.028 divided by 0.01, that's a 7, 15 will equal, and I'll just write that down, 1.86, and it's a repeater. And once again on our calculator, we can just click on our bubble button, which is that one, and it'll convert it to 1 hour and 52 minutes. And that's what it looks like on there. All right, so that's all for that question. Things you have to remember in there, you had to use the formula that was given from the example that was mentioned in here. then you just have to substitute into the formula. And then the conversion. Look, if you got stuck at the 1.86 repeater, I wouldn't have been too upset. In fact, that last one, oh no, they all say answer to the nearest minute. So we had to do that. But if you weren't able to do that, well, at least I've shown you how now. All right, cheers.